There we go. Let everybody get caught up here. DB's late. There's a reason why in a moment, but we'll get to all that. Not a big deal, but let everybody get kind of in. They're a little late today. Guess we can check the audio to make sure we're doing that good. That's always good. DB late. Yeah, well, that's what he does. Let's see here. Let's just see here. Are we going? Yep, we're going. We're going. We're good. We're good. We're all good for a playoff Friday, everybody. Dan Vaughn with you from here at Hawks and Sergeant Bluff. A little pregame energy, coffee, whatever. I've got it's the Warrior brew today, which my friend Snito was asking about it down in Kansas City. The Warrior is a caramel coffee, basically. Cold brew caramel deal. It's named after the local Sergeant Bluff Lupton High School, literally right across the street from here. So they've got a game tonight, big game against the West, I think. Like I know, right? I knew the big game today is going to be at Mercy One Field at Lewis and Clark Park. That's going to be tonight. Game 2 is finally here. It's time to get a little nervous again. Time to kind of get the ring the hands again, white knuckle it, whatever. Since we chatted yesterday, there's been a slight change in what I told you yesterday. Now, yesterday, I told you Tyler Grauer was going to go for Fargo-Moorhead. I kind of thought this would happen. I did believe this. But Colton Davis, who was the pitcher of the month in August, will go for Fargo. The rookie out of University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, Corsicana, Texas. Of course, Get Down Dana, they used to call it back in my day. They're off Interstate 45 going to Houston. Matter of fact, it's funny that he's from there because one of the last couple of high school basketball playoff games I did before coming up here, or about a month before, were in Corsicana. So I've actually know his high school well. But anyway, he goes tonight. And I don't think that's a huge surprise. I think it makes sense. Now, originally, Grauer has been very good as well. I mean, Grauer's been great in the postseason. Matter of fact, Grauer last year had a sub-3 ERA in the postseason. I believe he was 1-1, 2-0 maybe. I top of my head, don't know if I have it still up. Had it up yesterday, but and he's a lefty. Lefties have given this club trouble from time to time. We've talked about that to a degree. The splits don't really air that out. It's only about a 9 percentage point difference. But the Davis situation is interesting because this is a guy who, and I'm not going to, when I tell you he's pitched well against us, I ain't kidding. He's gone 7-0 this year, 2.15. Now, granted, when he first got he first worked as a starter with 5 innings, 2 earned runs back in June. Then he was in the bullpen for a short time, kind of here and for about a week. They put him back in the rotation on July 22nd. As a matter of fact, he didn't pitch from June 4th to July 22nd. Now, I have to clarify, I don't think he was released. He may be on the inactive list. I don't know, because that's over, that's dang near a month from June 4th to July 22nd. And he pitched against King County on the 22nd. We saw him first on August 3rd. A 5-4 loss at Sioux City. 4 innings, 4 runs, 4 earned, 4 hits, 2 walks, strikeout. He was around the plate. The X's, that was the last really bad outing he had. It was a loss, but he did not get a decision. He went 4 innings. If I remember correctly, the X's got the lead, I believe, in the 5th, and after he left the ball game. And I think that's right, if memory serves. Actually, I'll pull that up real quickly here, because that was the reason I'm telling you this is because, let's see, the X's got the lead in the 5th. That's correct. Here, this ball game was here. In the fifth inning, the X's got the lead off of Tasker Strobel, who's no longer with the ball club. I don't think. No, he's not. Kent County? That's right. Anyway. Oh, sorry, I just dropped the page here. Okay, since August 3rd against Sioux City, Colton Davis has gone 7 innings, no earned runs against Sioux City. That was on the 9th of August. That was just the 6 days later. His next start at home, 3-0 win, 7 innings, 3 hits, 5 walks, 3 strikeouts. And the walks are a concern, but the X's didn't get to him. And that was one of those frustrating days. If you look back on August 9th, 3-0 shutout. That was the first of the 3 shutouts the X's had late. The X's mustered 4 hits against him, and that is a Nagowski-less lineup card, and you had a lot of offers in that ball game. Your bottom 1, 2, 3, 4 went 0 for 8, 12, 15 against him. That was on the 9th, the 3-0 win. That one was, they got 1 run off of Tokar, 5 1/3 innings, and they got 1 run off of Gherkin and an unearned run off of Heiss in that ball game. So, and Heiss now pitches for the Red Hawks. So there's that. So there you go. That was August 9th. Then he goes to Kansas City, goes 9-0 win, 6 innings at Kansas City, 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. What's his encore there? Well, they come to town here, 13-1 win, 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. And they had 17 hits that day. That day, he faced Weatherby. Weatherby went 3 innings, 7 hits, 5 earned runs. Weatherby gave up a 4 spot in the 3rd. It was pretty much church from there. The X's mustered 1 9th-inning run. I believe it was a solo home run. I can't remember who it was off of, to be honest with you, but maybe off Heiss, yeah, in the 9th inning. And then for the encore, August 31st, Davis went 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned, 6 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts against Lake Country in a 5-2 winner. So what I'm telling you is he's won his last 1, 2, 3, 4 starts. The team's won all 4. He's won all 4. Now, he's gotten some run support. In 2 of those wins, they got 9 runs and 13 runs. And boy, 22, 25, 30 runs. So 30 runs have been scored for him in 4 ball games. What's that? 7.2, 7.5 runs a game, 7.9, something like that. 16. Yeah, 7.5 runs a game, but basically 7 runs a game. He's getting 7 runs of support, but since that 4 spot, the X's gave him in the 3rd of August. Ready for this? Since that 4 spot, August 3rd, he's given up 2 earned runs in 7, 14, 27 innings. So there you go. Ooh, that's getting done. Tonight's starter, good question, Jason. Tonight will be Mitchell Verberg. I'll get to him in a moment. He's not been bad either. There's some really good numbers there. But yes, Mitchell Verberg going tonight for the X's in this one. And he probably was your ace in waiting back in June. But due to really injury, Solomon took that mantle and he's ran with it. You had ace 1 and ace 2. You had an A and a B. At the blackjack table last night, I never got the 2 aces, but I love the 2 aces, right? You split them, right? If you ever play blackjack, well, you had 2 aces at the start of the year, and you still do. The Solomon, comes, and you still, I think, too, top of the car, wait in the wings, Sheik's wait in the wings, Weatherby wait in the wings. I mean, you've got some depth down there. I don't think you should be nervous you're nervous, but I don't think you should worry if you're forced to go to a game 3. Now, I don't think that's the worry right now. You want to win tonight. Now, how do you win tonight? That's going to be an interesting part of the story. Adjustments. What to look for? Colton Davis has a really good slider. From what I understand, and what really changed him, he was a 4-year starter in college. He was good. Rio Grande Valley is a decent Division I program in Texas, but it's not the University of Texas. It's not even Texas Tech, which is even better. It's not even Baylor, not better. Not they're not a Big 12 level talent, but they've got really good. They've got really good talent down there. I think they play in the Big West and the WAC. I'm sorry, the Big West. They play UTA and I think Dallas Baptist. They play some decent competition, but they weren't. Then they. But he was a guy, probably 4-year starter down there, but kind of came out of nowhere. And what I understand is that he was basically taught a slider. He didn't have a slider before, and that slider is what really changed his approach this year. So the slider there is sorry, the woman's looking for books there. I'll stop. She's probably going, why is this guy in the way? She's like, why is this guy in the way here? Well, because they got the clothing set up here. Yesterday I was the front door, and so the door I kept moving the door, bing, 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 bing. So anyway, what's the injury status of our players? Ron, good question. Let's go to that. They're all good questions, right? Injury status. Solomon Bates obviously is not available for the series. Last week, according to what Mongo told us on Friday in Chicago and again over the weekend, he sat Oda after the sweep on Friday, and he played I think he played Saturday. Oda sat Sunday, Monday. He had a little bit of a quad thing, just that happens, a lot of running, and he gave extra time off. He seemed to be fine on Wednesday night. Jimenez also sat all weekend after Friday. I think Jimenez caught both games on Friday, and then that was it. He sat all weekend. Catchers throw a lot, and his arm was a little sore, had been for the last month, and they sat him just to kind of rest him a bit. He was fine. It looked like he was fine on Wednesday. 2 pass balls, fluke. We hadn't had but what I tell you 4 all year until then. So it's not like it's an coming around a lot. Vince Fernandez was a little gimpy as well. He sat against the lefty the other night. I do expect to see him tonight in that lineup somewhere. Probably as your DH or right fielder or probably DH. Who else? As far as I know, that is it. As far as I know, just a little nicks and bruises there, and you're going to have that. Ron, I don't think there's anybody else except the one that lingers over the club is Solomon, and I think that the further you go, the more likely you get to see him again. He was with the team on Wednesday. Obviously, he's here in town right now. I believe, and again, we'll know more from Mongo tonight, but I believe the diagnosis was 10 days to 2 weeks to throw again. That's sort of what I've heard. Again, I've not heard this from Solomon. I'm getting this from secondhand information from others that seem to be in the know. Until I actually hear it from Mongo or from Bruce Fishback, I don't know. And but I don't think he threw this week. And my question to you, Ron, is 2 innings of Solomon Bates better than no innings? And I think that's probably right. Yes, the next round, and let me put this on the screen here. How's the next round work? It's confusing to a degree because for forever, and Jason, you may recall this, it used to be that these series were 5-game series. You go back to the year that Sioux City went to the championship against St. Paul, it was a 5-game series in both rounds. Well, since 21, they've had the All-Star. They've had the wild card round. On 21, to the play-in game, right? Which I love that. Play-in game. They still did a 5-game series in 21. Now, I've gone now since last year, the last 2 years, to 3-game series in the first round. Something I'm very familiar with my time in Australia because that's how the ABL's done it forever, including the championship series. Last year, Perth had 1 game at home and had to go to Adelaide for 2. I'm going to move this back just a tad here. Go to Adelaide for 2. Perth had the better crowd and would have probably won the series if they would have played the 5-game series. But anyway, I digress. Perth had 6,000 there. Adelaide, about 1,200. So there's that. Anyway, but yeah, the next round would work home on Monday night, except, and Jason, here's the thing. I was telling my wife this earlier. Assuming Sioux City, let's just assume the X's win the series tonight or tomorrow. It doesn't make any difference which day. And you may not know. If Sioux Falls wins tonight and you lose tonight, everything's still up in the air, correct? You win tonight, Kansas City wins tonight, well, you'll wait and see them on Monday. If Sioux Falls is able to pull off the miracle of miracles and win 2 games in Kansas City, which, by the way, this Fargo club right here, not the exact club, but this club, Fargo Red Hawk Club, last year lost the first game at home and did go to Kansas City and beat them twice. Now, Kansas City had dreadful defense, much like they have this year, and it cost them. It was a huge error at first base. They had a big lead, 5-1, 5-2 in the middle innings or 6th inning, and there was a terrible error at first base. Left the inning wide open, and Silviano does what Silviano does. You can't give him a chance, runners aboard, okay? And it changed everything. The next day, they got buried early. So Kansas City has lost games at home before, okay? So it's not like it hasn't. But I think the Monarchs are pretty dialed in. I think they win that series. Assuming they do, Jason, Monday night would be the game here, assuming we can pull it off too. And it would be here one Wednesday, Thursday in Kansas City. The championship series, should you make it that far, would begin on Saturday. And I think, depending on who makes it out of there, let's just say Milwaukee makes it out of there. For example, you'd play at home against home 2 at home against Milwaukee, 3 there. But again, that's winning the line. We're getting way ahead of ourselves, okay? Way ahead of ourselves. But that's how it works. Monday night. The off day is Sunday. And the off days are built in for 2 reasons. A, for travel, and B, for weather. Well, the weather's not going to be a problem today. I don't know about the rest of the league. It's not a problem that I know of, but I haven't seen the forecast for Chicagoland. And, they got the game there at O'Hare. And there's a game in 2 out there in Chicago. But the other series is there in the Kansas City, I think, is pretty much like it is here, with less smoke in the air. But all right. Great stuff. Let me check my other list of notes here. I'm sorry about that. Let's see here. Let's go. Big game tonight. Yep. Who starts for us? Got that. I will take your questions, though, and comments. I'm here to take those. Where were we? Oh, yes. The matchup. Verberg. This is really one of those weird deals where all the accolades, I mean, Colton Davis has been really, really good and should get all the credit in the world. The kid should get all the credit in the world. I mean, I wrote him up for Australia. The kid's got great stuff. That slider's changed him. Now, his slider, he was taught the slider apparently by Kevin McGovern, and that's made a big difference, especially when he has to face, lefties in certain situations or righties in certain situations. A lot of times, guys, when they don't have a pitch that they can really use with either side, they get in trouble. And he's able to use that slider to both back door, front door, and that's been real good for him. So, and again, that's just what I understand from hearing our guys talk and what I heard from Fargo as well. That's been the big difference. Now, Verberg, again, was one of the aces in waiting. And I keep reminding folks that, we've talked a lot about Solomon this year, and rightfully so. Solomon's been really good. I mean, there's no doubt how much I love him, and Mitchell's has been equally as good. The reason we don't think about it, because he went away a couple times. Remember, he had the injury issue. Start 3, was it? I believe it was 4. They got hurt in that crazy day. That was the base day in the base day in Lincoln, where you lost Mongo to the bases. You had two guys go down. I believe it wasn't a Sunday. I think that was the same day, wasn't it? You had two crazy Sundays. One was, I think that was the same day. I go back in the mind of the season. But you remember you'd lost Verberg and Weatherby in back-to-back innings after Weatherby had just come back. You finally got them both right. Now, his numbers are very similar to Tyler Grauer's, except he's a righty, and in fewer innings. But he's been really good, 3.87, 6-4. He gets decisions. And the reason those losses have come, well, one, a close ball game, no run support. The other ones, a couple of losses were early inning issues. So be on a watch again for the early inning. Much like Drury, if you get him to the first inning, he's okay. He's great. That's what happened last time against Fargo. He had a bad first inning, and once he got going, he was great. But the team lost 8-6, 6 innings, 6 earned runs, but he gave up 4 in the first inning, 2 the rest of the way. The X's win that ball game 6-2, except for that first inning, 6-3 maybe. Last time out, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 3 hits. And don't discount that outing against Chicago, who had everything to play for. Lake Country was playing bad, by the way, when Davis faced them. They had everything to play for, too. Chicago needed a doubleheader sweep, or at least a split, to make the weekend worthwhile. And that Chicago offense is quietly really, really good. And I think they had everybody except for Johnny Turbo, the only one they didn't have, and he hadn't been playing much anyway. And then against Fargo, I mentioned the 6 innings, 6 hits. And prior to that, Sioux Falls, 4 1/3, 4 hits. So he had back-to-back outings where he gave up 10 earned runs in 10 innings. All right? But prior to that, these are the outings from Verberg once he came off the injured list, okay? So let's go through those. He had a 3-inning spot where he just first came off the list on the 22nd of July, 3 innings, 2 earned runs, get the rust off. He went a 5-inning performance on July 27th, 3 earned runs, 5 1/3 on the 2nd of August, 3 earned runs. Then he goes 6 1/3, 2 earned, 7 2/3, no earned. That was against Winnipeg and Fargo. So he's had success at Fargo. He went 6 1/3 and 2 earned runs. And he's actually beaten Fargo twice out of the last 3 shots he's faced him. One of them being back on the 2nd of August, one of them being on the 9th of August, when we played Fargo every day, it seemed like. And you got to go back. Let's see here. Did he face them earlier this year? I don't think he did. No. So Verberg has had 2 really good outings and 1 not so good outing. Colton Davis had 1 not so good and 2 really good outings. So you've got the same sort of thing going. I would tell you Verberg's got the larger sample size of innings. 3, let's see, he's got 72. Davis, let me pull his numbers up. Sorry about that. Here we go. Davis has thrown this year 46. Okay? Let me put it to you this way. That's 30-some-odd innings of difference, right? That's going to be, what is that, 5 starts difference? A larger sample size for Verberg despite being injured, okay? The more you see a guy, there's two schools of thoughts here. The more you see someone, the better you get at the plate, or the more they see you, the more they figure you out. It works both ways, and that's why adjustments are huge. That's why what Josh Hines will be doing adjustment-wise and what they're doing adjustment-wise will be huge for both ball clubs. And, a lot of people are looking at this matchup going, and I don't blame them. And why people were saying we better throw Davis, and I heard some Fargo fans say we better throw Davis. And I get it, man. The guys are great. But Verberg's no slouch. Yes, he's had some ups and downs, but Verberg is more ups and downs that come from injury. Trying to get revved up again. But I go back to what Verberg did to start the year when he was like he is now, which he hasn't looked this good since then. And I think he would tell you that. Mitchell to start the year, let's see here, went 5, 10, 14. He went 14, 15 innings with 3 earned runs to start the year. 16, 20 and a third, 25 and a third innings to start the year. That's through June 27th when he got hurt, or before he got hurt at Lincoln. He gave 1, 2, 3, 4 earned runs in that time. So 4 earned runs in 30 innings basically is what he gave up until he went down in Lincoln. And I don't think people remember that because, we're looking at August, right? But, I mean, Mitchell's on the DL, off the DL, most of June and July, trying to find his traction again. He finally has. And I think you're seeing after that first inning against Fargo here, he's gone his last 10 innings, 1 earned run. So you got a really good matchup tonight. What I'm trying to tell you is I want to talk you off the ledge with a lot of folks when they heard the news that it was going to be, Colton Davis going. It was like, oh, we'll see you tomorrow night. We'll see you Saturday night. Playoff baseball is different. I'm not saying Colton Davis is going to be any different. You may go out there and get struck out 9 times and grab 4 hits and still win 2-1. That's what this team could do. I need to get him tonight. I won't be able to go tomorrow. Because I'm going to the Minnesota Vikings. Who they play on Sunday? I should know this. They're playing. Hold on. I did my picks yesterday for my little pick thing I do with Brad Allred with Cleveland. I did know I had the Lions last night. Yes, I had the Lions last night. Not only did I cover the line, they won the game straight up. Okay, the Bucks. That's right. They're playing the Bucks. That's right. Who's the Bucks quarterback? I don't even know. I mean, that's one of those. I don't even know who's playing quarterback for them. I mean, I know the whole Viking story because I saw the quarterback deal this summer. By the way, that's a really good documentary. If you guys haven't seen that, it was on Netflix. It followed Patrick Mahomes, and then it followed what's the quarterback, former Dolphin, not Dolphin, is it Mariota? I'm thinking of, it's Mariota, right? Former Falcon, now with the Titans, is that right? Former Oregon Duck, right? And then the Vikings quarterback who, by the way, I saw play against Michigan. Saw him play against Notre Dame when he was a senior and upset the Irish there at South Bend. It was happy the game I was at. Michigan State won. Yeah, Kirk Cousins. Yep. Yes, Mariota was the other one. Yeah, Cousins. I'm sorry. Yeah, I knew that name. By the way, has there been a better move? And this is totally off the subject because you can tell I'm nervous about tonight because I don't care, but I can jump off the subject. But when Washington, then known as the Redskins, took RG3 and Cousins in the same draft, people thought they were crazy. Has there been a better move than that? Because RG3 didn't work out. They had insurance. And then Cousins cashed in on himself. That's sort of like Solomon Bates cashing in on himself. Solomon Bates has got a really bright career. He got released. He comes here, finished out the year, goes down to Latin America, does great in Venezuela, pitches good in Colombia, and then he comes back here as an all-star. I mean, Solomon's arrow's pointing up. I mean, he's either back here as an ace next year or he goes to spring training with somebody. Not to mention he's going back to Latin America, down to Venezuela again. But talking about again, I just saw Solomon's tweet. It's why it reminded me of, he bet on himself and he won. Oh, that's right. Mayfield, former Red Raider. Sort of. All right, where we go. Rick says, where are we at here? I'll go to Nate here. Nate up there in Fargo says, fun, I hear KFGO radio in Fargo is taking some listeners out of the Viking. Okay. Yeah, Nate's up there in Fargo. Says, I hear the radio in Fargo is taking some listeners out. The Vikings, the Tampa game. Former Bison happens to be playing for Tampa. Yeah, there's a lot of crossover between Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Fargo. Most of those fans in Fargo are huge Vikings, T-Wolves, Wild. There's quite a few Golden Gopher fans, and there's also a lot of Bison fans over there too. A lot of kids from Minnesota go to North Dakota State, but there's a lot of crossover. Twins, so you get the TV of all up there. You get all those. They're kind of, for us. It's more. God, what's for us? Mostly Kansas City sports, right? Kansas City, get some Twin Cities, little Chicago. We're more that direction, but let's go X, as Derek says. How you doing, Derek? Back here, I'm surprised. Well, it's changed a little bit, Jason. What you got to remember is there's two things in play about why guys. Remember 21, Jason, where there was a lot of transfers going on. A lot of transfers are going on. A lot of players are moving, going to organizations, and that was post-COVID. Now and that's after they. Remember that the minor leagues were reshuffled. So they chopped off rookie clubs. They basically took AAA, AA, full season, 2 full season single A's, a short season single A. You had usually 2 rookie teams, if not a team in the Caribbean, probably in Venezuela. So you had like 8, 9 teams. And sometimes you had some organizations had complex teams. Well, they pared all that down. And they pared it down. They got rid of all the complex. They got rid of, they get one complex team basically, well, 2, but one complex team, they split into 2. You get an A-ball club, 2 A-ball clubs, complex teams, AA, AAA, you get 6, I believe is what it is now. So that trimmed the whole talent pool down. Your organization didn't have a place to play them. You need games, these kids. And so what used to happen, instructional league, which is where they'd put kids, they would stay in spring training and didn't get assigned to a team. They play like instructional games. That still goes on, but that pool's been cut down. The draft also was in June back in the day, back 3 years ago. It's now in July. So that's changed everything. Then you throw in the fact that guys getting signed and what we call transferred is more expensive now. It was a little cheaper back in 21, where organizations could pay to the Aussie salute. It was a cheaper purchase than it is now. That price is raised. So all those factors have gone in. And that's why you're seeing some changes now where players are available more in July and August, where before you hardly ever saw a guy show up in August via an organization. It was always a trade within the league. Back in the old days, 21 or before, the June draft, you'd have a lot of guys get released. The June draft, let's say your first round draft pick comes in, he goes to AA. He's a shortstop. The AA shortstop either goes up. Well, he can't because I got another prospect there. He's been here for 6 years. Either we put him in the Rule 5 draft, which is in December, which you've already had that, or you release him, which is what most of the time would happen, or ask him to take an assignment and play down low. A lot of times those guys will go free agency. They almost always do. And those guys were available. No one took them. We had several. I remember Drew Mirren was a guy that was with the Astros. Big, tall, 6'6" center fielder that played for Gary in 2015 or 16. He was a top third round, second round draft pick that after the draft became available and shows up in Gary and had a great year. Former quarterback there in San Diego. But you get players like that. That's not happening as much. So it's changed, Jason, to a degree. And so guys are more likely to get that invite in September, October, November, or even after winter ball season, sometimes during winter ball season. So that's sort of what's happening. A lot of times too, Jason, what's happening is, let's say I get released by the Angels. I'm going to go home and kind of work out. We're kind of reshuffle the deck chairs, get me a winter ball job, Venezuela, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Australia, wherever, and then go from there. So some guys, they want to kind of sort of reshuffle the deck, right? And everybody's different. So all those factors have gone into why guys are not getting contracted nearly as much. So it's different now. But I believe what Solomon's going to see is because he plays down in Venezuela, scouts are there, and because I know Mongo's pushing him as well, he's either going to be, if he's back here next year, I don't think he's here all year. And if he is, he's beloved here, right? but loved here. It doesn't mean he doesn't get contracted after next year. I mean, let's say he comes back next year. He's still young. Comes back next year, wins 10 games, another Pitcher of the Year award. Then he gets a shot with the Dodgers or the Rangers, whoever. They need pitching. Big league clubs need pitching in the worst way, and they're going to find it. And eventually they're going to find him. So anyway, it's a really good stuff there, Jason. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Who lost in overtime, Rick? Where were we at? What I miss? Bringing the hockey team back from Omaha. They already started? Did they start already? The Musketeers? They already started? Did I miss this? Connor's here tonight, so I'll have to ask Connor. Connor's in the air with me tonight, so I was telling Connor, I got a friend of mine in Dallas, or Arlington actually, Mansfield, whose son got picked in the supplemental. Well, there's 2 drafts in that league. He was in the part 2 draft, first or second round, the Dallas Stars development program. That was kind of cool. I'd never known a hockey draft pick, and I knew the kid went. So let's see here. Where did I miss here? All right, back to the game tonight at hand. Let's see here. A preseason game, okay. Yeah, and again, it's a lot of love here. Here's the deal that people don't realize. I got asked this by a group in Kansas City last night, who I thought the better manager was between Joe Capietra and Steve Montgomery. And it's a real tough question. It's an unfair question, to be honest with you, but I answered it because I love those people. I shouldn't say unfair. It's not right. It's a tough question because you're asking me to pick allegiances. And they're both friends of mine, so to tell one is better than the other is hard to do, right? I just said this, and I think that the programs are very similar but done differently. Mongo's plan is the same as Joe's plan, to get guys a chance to chase those major league dreams. That's the goal. That's what independent baseball is, or partnership baseball, whatever you want to call this thing. The league wants us to say partner baseball, but we're not affiliated, okay? You guys get that. And the goal is to get Solomon Bates, Mitchell Verberg, whoever. The goal is to see the goal is John Nagowski, who came here in 2017 after being released, winds up with the Cardinals and getting the big leagues, with 2 different teams. That's the goal, okay? And that's what Mongo's goal is. Now, also his goal is to win. It's twofold, because in this league, winning matters. Guys come here, they want to win. Max Coons is here because he wants to win. You have fun again. You get released by a big league club, and you shouldn't have. Coons shouldn't have been released. It was ridiculous. The guys should be playing AAA ball. But numbers game caught up with him. The big league club, they want pitching, but they're not willing to, they don't have numbers. They can't keep the numbers they used to keep, right? They can stack AAA with guys in the IL, but they can't, they can only keep so many. It's a mathematical thing. Somebody's got to go. It's a rule. And guys come to this place, and they have fun again. I watched some kids last night having fun when I was out enjoying the game last night. I saw kids on the bus on the way back from Fargo having fun again. Having fun, enjoying playing baseball. And a lot of times they get to an organization, it's not fun anymore. Worrying about the guy in front of me. And I saw a really good piece that was done by Marquee Sports in Chicago over the weekend. It was about the kids at High A South Bend. And they were mostly Latin players trying to learn English and all this stuff. And this documentary kind of piece, there's guys in front of him, behind him. It's a whole, you're looking over your shoulder while you're also trying to look ahead and have a job, right? You come here, there's no one coming up we don't have a Class A team across the river, right? We don't have an affiliate over in Hastings, Nebraska, okay? We don't have that. We have a team here, and that's what we have. This is our team. This is what we got. And our guys, if they perform, they stay. They don't, they don't. And so that's why it's different. So guys love that. So the question was asked, and I said, Mongo's done more with different, with less. We're not a big city. We're a small town. And I go back to this whole thing again, where managers care and Mongo cares. Not that Joe does too. So I basically answer the question by saying that the two do the same thing. And, they do it differently because of different personalities. They've both been successful. Joe's got more championships, but, are we talking, is that the question? That wasn't the question. The question was who I thought was a better manager. And I think doing more with less always is impressive. What I mean by less, a smaller town, harder to get to, less bells and whistles. But that doesn't matter. Mongo is passion. And I've talked about this all year. Passion is the difference in this organization. This organization has passion. John Russo, our owner, is passionate about this group and about this town. If you didn't see the piece on Channel 9, you should, about Mongo that was done by Noah Sacco and Channel 9. Great stuff. Mongo's passionate. Passionate. I'm passionate. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't, right? I think that's why I'm attracted to being here, because I feel that here people are passionate, so am I. Now, granted, I haven't had a chance to meet everybody yet. I've got a lot of things I want to do to add what we're doing. I think that I can add my passion to what we're doing. And I think I found a match in my career that matches my passion. So that was my answer. And you should be coach of the year. And you know what the funny thing is, and this is what I told these people. I'm pulling the curtain back here, and I don't want to get down this rabbit hole, but when I got let go in Kansas City, Mongo reached out to me and checked on me. Never worked with the guy. That's the kind of person he is. He cares, and mateship and friendship is very important to him. And so anyway, I digress. I don't know how that came up, but anyway. At least it was a close game at Expresso, but from Force wasn't played tonight out of Omaha. You guys listen. I can't listen to. I love the Dallas Stars. I can't watch their preseason games. And I love them on the radio. I love hockey on the radio. By the way, the Dallas Stars hockey broadcast on the radio are awesome. Now what they do is they take the hockey radio and put it over the TV. I love it. I mean, the Razor Ray, the color guy, he's a big hit there in Dallas. In his Canadian accent, they love him. Let's see here. David, good to see you. Yeah, I wish I could have seen some of that. David does his stuff, by the way. He knows his stuff. Good mate of mine. I've heard that. I know that Schaumburg, all I know is Schaumburg got eliminated. I didn't see that. I get so focused on what we're doing that I miss out a lot of that, and I should probably check more of that out. But yeah, hey, it's good baseball, man. I would the playoffs in this league and those leagues blow away the A-ball leagues, because by the time a first half champion plays a second half champion in A-ball, you know what you got. And I saw that in '99 when Burlington won the Midwest League with their second half team playing the first half team of Clinton, or whoever it was. Clinton. It was Clinton. It wasn't the same team, and all of them are promoted. So anyway, good stuff. What did I miss here? On hockey talk. Anyway. All right, what else you guys got? All right, tonight, what do you guys think? Are you convinced that there's no way in the world you can get a run off Colton Davis? Are you worried? Does home field mean that much in this series? There's a lot of questions at stake here. And I looked at some numbers. The X's have been really good at home. I believe the X's have the second best record at home behind Kansas City. That as well. What do the X's have to do to win? Okay. I'll tackle that. It's pretty simple. The X's win if Verberg goes out and does starting pitching, get you 5 innings. 5 or 6, okay? Quality start, 5. Remember the boxes we check here. Starting pitching, check. Did you get it on Wednesday? Yes. Offense, just enough. Well, you got just enough. Remember, you gave up 3 unearned runs, right? So that puts you in a hole, but you got, you're averaging 5 run. You're averaging 5 runs a game at the plate, giving up about 4.5. So you got to keep that in mind. So score 5, allow 4 less. And the bullpen, doing what the bullpen did, What the bullpen did on Wednesday is what they've done all but last Monday. Last Monday was why I was so shocked that the X's gave up 10 runs in the Monday game against Chicago, because the X's had not had that problem. You got a full stable of arms down there. You didn't see Brosher. You only saw Rakowski for two-thirds. I believe that Diaz is only two-thirds. You're going to see those guys. You're going to see Caracci out there. You're going to see those guys out there. They're really been good, and that's the recipe. I expect, much like Wednesday night, Matt Lloyd will be in the mix, but somebody else will also complement him. It was a couple of guys, Delvin and Chase, were both part of that offense. Those two really got going at the bottom of the card. And I still think if Vince Fernandez plays tonight, assuming he's in the lineup card, Vince will be a big difference maker. He's a AAA guy. He's got numbers. He's got really good numbers this year that no one really paid attention to, because they look at the average and go, 240 something. Led the team in one by RBIs by one and home runs, but Matt Lloyd is getting multi-hit ball games. And you throw Nogowski in there, this team's hitting 300 with Nogowski. And Daniel Lang has been a huge difference as well. I like the way this team sits at home. This team's built for this ballpark. I love the spot for Mitchell here, because Colton Davis, all in the league. And I get it. You want to promote your stars, and Colton Davis was a star in August. He's a really good arm, man. He's really good. You want to push that, and that's what if you're a Fargo fan, you're sitting there going, "We got Davis tonight. He shut them down all but once. We're gonna play tomorrow." You got to play the game, though, right? Somehow, some way, I believe the little engine is good, which is this is where we'll find a way. They remind me so much. This team reminds me so much of the 2018 T-Bones and a little bit of the 2013 Gary Railcats. The Railcats in 2013 didn't do anything too flashy, but they did it. It was the little things. That's what they're really reminded. And that was funny, because last night, one of my memories on Facebook was the 2013 Railcat team, who beat the big bad Wichita Wingnuts, who had the league's best record in the championship. They didn't have a lot of pop. They had much less pop in this club. A lot of doubles and triples, a lot of doubles. This club does that. Did the little things. Had gamers like the Linguas and the Nogowskis of the world, and they had really good pitching. That it was deep, and there wasn't really a flat-out ace for Alan Keanu, and he was sort of in the last part of his career anyway. And they were very, very yeoman-like this club is, and I think the little engine that could will be fine. We need you out there tonight. Need you out there. I think we win tonight. Sioux Falls. Jason, you're asking Sioux Falls to do something. No, Sioux Falls has done it. They won 2 games recently there. Kansas City doesn't look good at home. And I don't know what the deal is there with the crowd. There's a little bit of malaise there. I don't know what that is. We've looked really good at home, except for that Fargo series. Of course, right before that, you played Milwaukee, who had the second best record in the league. And you looked really good in that series. I'd like to see this play Chicago to three games here. It'd been a little different, I think. But Kansas City got all over Sioux Falls on Wednesday night. I watched a little replay of that, and their bats look like they meant business. Now, remember, Kansas City lost 2 games at home last year. As a matter of fact, under Joe Capietra, the Monarchs / T-Bones have lost 1, 2, on my head here, 3. They've lost 4. They won in 21. They swept the postseason. So they won every game at home. So that would have been, they won 1, 2, 3 home games in the 21 playoffs. There's only 3 home games they won. They won 6 because they had the home field, but they flipped the games. They went ahead and played the first game on the road and played. Is that right? It was a 5-game series. They won 3. They won 2 at home against Sioux City and 2 at home against Fargo. That's right. Or 1 at home against Fargo. Pardon me. They won home against Fargo, And they won. So anyway, they won 2. And their last 6 postseason games at home, off the top of my head, I believe they're 2-4. So maybe you're right, Jason. No way. Let's see where we at here. Looking for a touchdown view. Let's see on your phone. Okay. Did you guys say I got quiet? Is what you said? We got to shut down anyway. I got work to do. Where were we? Did I get quiet, Jason? Did I get quiet? Let me hear myself. Did I get quiet? I see myself working there. I may have moved the mic. Let me see the mic still going. 1, 2. Yeah, it's working. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. You guys got quarter? Okay. Turn it up a little bit. There we go. Is that better? I think that's better. All right, last call here. I got to get going, man. I'm. Can you tell I'm nervous? Just talking to talk right now. I'm just talking to talk. Wait for the mates came in. By the way, Stino, earlier you missed this. The Hawks September is a caramel cold brew. It's really good. Did I ever see the replay? There was no replay that I saw. What Jason's referring to is the play on Wednesday night, which we've gone back. We talked about it yesterday briefly here. I mean, talked about it at length yesterday, but the rule was correct. If he missed first base, those runs would not count. If he missed second base, those runs would have counted. Third base. If he scored a home run and didn't miss the bag, those runs would have counted. But the fact that he didn't touch first base under rule means those runs didn't count. Now the question is, did he touch first? I'm erring on the side that the umpire really believed he didn't touch it. But from what I understand, he claims his foot didn't touch it; his heel did. It doesn't matter if your toe touches it or your heel touches it or your knee doesn't matter what part of your body touches the bag. You got to touch the bag. He believed he touched the bag. Never seen that call made. Ever seen that call made? Seen that call made, but not with runners aboard, and not that situation. Let's go. X's, Reggie. You're right. What's up, Mississippi? What's up, Mississippi? Magnolia State. Cool place, man. My wife and I rode the train through Mississippi from Memphis to New Orleans. Oh gosh, December. Was it December? We went to Liberty Bowl in Memphis, and then drove. We flew to Memphis, Liberty Bowl there in Memphis, and took the train from Memphis to New Orleans. We stayed in the hotel that's the train station there in Memphis. It's the old train station's been turned into a hotel. And they still have the train come through there. Got to go through it. I love Mississippi. I think it's a cool place. Did a college visit Ole Miss. Been to Ole Miss before. My family ancestral on my dad's side was from Corinth, Mississippi, and also from Western Alabama. So I've got a lot of family history there. My great grandparents were married in Nashville, but they lived in Corinth many moons ago. That train the only problem with that train though is, Reggie, is that you got to get up at I think that train leaves at 6. So my wife and I the night before were at the Liberty Bowl, Texas Tech by Mississippi State, and Leach was there. It was a big deal beating Leach, no longer with us, unfortunately. But we were out late. We had cocktails. We were out late. Had a burger at what's the burger place in Memphis? Oh man, it's several of them across town. A really good burger bar. Went there, and I think we slept 4 hours. Staggered downstairs to the train, but we were in the train station because the hotel's above the train station. Really cool hotel. And we went and we took the train. It leaves at 6. It's a great ride though, man. Cool ride down through go through Jackson. You go right by the football stadium in Jackson. Through the central, basically downtown Jackson and down to the Delta and all that. It's a really cool drive. Yeah, it's early though, man. It's early. Memphis favorite daughter. Yeah, Janae's from Memphis. I love it. By the way, Memphis, if you get a chance to go to Memphis, again, I'm just babbling now. You gotta go that Lorraine Hotel. It's a really cool thing. I've been touched by the Negro Leagues Museum in Kansas City and by the Lorraine Hotel, part of the Civil Rights Trail. My wife and I really could have spent. We went to Graceland, which was fine. Elvis, I love Elvis. Don't get me wrong, I love him. I've been to Graceland before. It's very, very, very gimmicky, very ticky tack. Hey, it's a moneymaker for him. I get it. And Elvis, I love the Elvis stories. I could really, I mean, I'm a big fan of Elvis. By the way, yesterday was Buddy Holly's birthday, by the way. Even bigger fan of him. But the most touching thing is to go to the Lorraine Hotel. It's really, really cool. And that is a great, if you go to Memphis, you don't go to that museum, you didn't go to Memphis. It tells the story of Dr. King and all that. It's really cool. Really, really cool. And you're in the actual hotel room that he spent his last night. It's so bizarre. You're right there looking at the famous photo of them pointing, right? You're there. That's the museum. It's bizarre. It's so bizarre. I mean, it's a really great experience. Anyway, all right, back to baseball. Uh, uh, Same umpires, by the way, Jason. Same umpires. I've got those here. Anything else here? Anybody else? Anybody else got a baseball question here? You got Beale Street? Yep. It's funny. I was walking down Beale Street, Reggie. I'm walking down Beale Street, and the president of Texas Tech, Dr. Lawrence Skubanik, is walking next to me, he and his wife. And I go, my wife and I look at each other and go, that's the president of the university. So I just started chatting him up. And he and I are standing in the corner, and above one of the buildings in Beale Street, there's a big, huge TV screen showing the highlights of the day for the NFL. The Chiefs had won. They beat San Diego, I think. No. They beat Tennessee. No, it wasn't Tennessee. They lost Tennessee. They were playing somebody. They won. Maybe Denver. And we were watching the highlights of Mahomes on Beale Street. He and I were just chatting away, like, what do you do for a living? And all this stuff. And this is 2 years ago. But yeah, cool place, man. I love Memphis. I think Memphis is cool. Memphis is a place that, I definitely go. We want to go back. We would think it's cool. We like that place a lot. It's on my list of places I enjoy, which makes sense because the Australians love Memphis. They love going there. It's a huge deal to them. The Australian culture is interested in several things about America. One being the music, and two being the civil rights story. Because in Australia, the Australian story has been their struggle with their racial inequalities between the indigenous population. They also are very interested in American Indian culture too. That's why Australians love to fly into the States and somehow find their way to Dallas or to LA or to Chicago and do the Route 66 or drive from Chicago to New Orleans. I've seen some of my Australian friends will get in the car and drive across the country, the United States, because they want to see what makes us tick. And it's amazing. And Memphis is always on that list, always a must, because it's got so many historical things there. Anyway, all right. Where was I? Last call here. Tonight, gates open at 6. Now, on the radio side tonight, we're on 102.3 FM, and I've got that link right here. This is the link right here. If you are not in the Sioux City area, or you are, and you can't, sorry about that. That's not what I wanted to do. You are in the Sioux City area. This is the link to listen tonight on the radio, okay? That's the radio link. Of course, Baseball TV, it's always got you covered. And that's what we'll be on tonight, 6:35. I'm sorry, 6:35 tonight. You guys know where that drill is. Connor will be with me tonight. And there we go, Baseball TV. And you've also got, there we go. That's the link to listen to 102.3 FM, Q102. You're in town on FM. If you're out and you're not local, that's the link there for the broadcast. We're not on KSCJ tonight. We're on the sister station. Remember the N, should we play tomorrow? Same thing. The FM, and that's worldwide on their online and all that. So just go to that link right there and you can get it. I'll post that link as well. Sitting out the game, Ron's going to W. I think it'll be a great game tonight. I think it's going to be really good, a lot of energy. The last time I was here for a playoff game, it was a lot of energy. That's one of the advantages of having a smaller stadium. I believe in this crew. I just think the body of work will show. And Fargo's really, Fargo has done a heck of a job to get to this point. I mean, there was a time 10 days ago where they were in dire straits. Even though they won a series here, they survived a long road trip, which if they win a game, lose one here, win one, lose one here or there, who knows what happens. And Lincoln fell apart. They had to really battle to get there. And that's always a dangerous thing. But, the X's, no one gave this to the club. The X's worked for it too. Had a really good August. And really since the early start, that swoon in June, created early July, this club's been really, really good. And they're all fairly healthy for the most part, except for Solomon. And you got to win tonight, maybe see him again. We'll see. Air tonight, we'll have Mongo on tonight on the Dugout Report. I haven't even unearthed what we're going to do on the pregame show besides that. May have a booth cam up on my Facebook page and my YouTube page, but who knows? Anyway, all right, last call. Everybody got it? We're all ready to go? Ready for some 1, 2, 3 go X's? Good grief, it's 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock! Gotta get going here, man. All right, that's what happens when you start an hour late. Here we go. All right, ready for some go X's? 1, 2, 3. Go X's. I'll see the broadcast. Not everybody.